All right, so I'm here talking with the founder, Justin, who is from Zeus Network, which is a very interesting uh, BTC protocol, which I was a little bit familiar with last year, and then it's kind of been off my radar. People have asked me on the channel about it, and I've said I don't know, have enough information, and just out of thin air, Justin said, "Let's do a podcast," and like I'm down. So I'm really, really keen to learn about Zeus, and I'm really keen to have a chat with you. So, Justin, how are you? Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Justin, founder of Zeus Networks. Our team be building on Solana for almost more than 4 years already. We first started building on Solana in late 2020, and we've been building various kinds of dApps that you can name it, DeFi aggregators, AI related topics, and then till now we're building Zeus Networks. We've been building this for almost 2 years. And we were the first LFG Launchpad project since last year. And we first started raising our LFG with our products, and then we knew that we have something to deliver. And until last 2 months, we've proven to everyone, even everyone, not just Zeus communities, even everyone on Solana, that we deliver. We deliver first use cases using Solana to validate Bitcoin transactions.
Awesome. Well, we'll go over what Zeus is, but I've I'd love to hear a nice kind of keeping it simple explanation on what Zeus is. But just for starters, this here is Zeus's Twitter. So for more information, start here, and then Justin, this is your Twitter, and we'll go over Zeus a little bit on Apollo and kind of take it from there. But what can we say about like what is Zeus Network? Why is it needed? Maybe why is it needed? That would be a good first starting position because you told me beforehand, and I do believe like has amazing product market fit.
Yeah. First, we have to realize that Bitcoin as an asset, it's $1 trillion asset. It means $1 trillion liquidities to various could potentially injected to various different blockchains. And I'll give you a precise data. Right now, there's not even 1% Bitcoin that's actually being used by on-chain activities. There's only about 0.4%. 0.4%, you're looking at these billions of dollars already. So there's still tons of upside that these dormant liquidity, untapped liquidity, that can be utilized on different forms of blockchains. And why Zeus is important is that when you think about Solana and when you think about injecting your Bitcoin into Solana DeFi using, you have to think about Zeus, right? Instead of bridge BTC, bridging your BTC from a third party, we enable a native mint of version BTC to Solana with your Bitcoin positions, meaning that you don't have to go through BitGo, you don't have to go through Coinbase. You just have to go through Zeus, the first step Apollo, deposit your Bitcoin, and mint it 1-to-1 ratio of Bitcoin to Solana and leverage the yield out of Solana DeFi ecosystems.
Cool. Yeah, you mentioned when we were chatting beforehand stuff that I had no idea. This is your game, but CBBTC, which I use, in Camino and whatnot, it's it's great, but they only announce proof of reserves once a month. WBTC, there was some FUD on it last year, and like it's legitimate FUD, where you'll know more than I do, but the people that hold the MPC or the multi-sig key, basically the ability to withdraw or whatnot, it's very, very centralized, extremely centralized. I believe there's only 3 parties. Is that correct? Do you know much about WBTC?
Well, WBTC, they have about 12 signer NPC, but we don't know if they actually sign stuff. They just claim that there's an enterprise alliance that holds the Bitcoin together, but there's no tag, there is no proof of a trace on chain that we can track that. Oh, okay, like all these alliance actually protecting everyone's BTC through WBTC, but again, nothing's on chain.
Gotcha. Because yeah, one thing is, not to FUD, these are the competitors, but legitimately, we don't know if Coinbase's BTC that you go and buy your BTC, you take CBBTC or WBTC. We don't know what they're doing with that BTC. Are they loaning it out to institutions? Like, we saw this in the previous cycle with, Celsius blowing up, and this is far more centralized, of course, but Celsius and BlockFi and all these lending platforms that loaned out BTC when they weren't supposed to do it like that. So Zeus is done differently in a way that you can see the address in the Explorer, uh, which has the BTC, and you can see it's there. It hasn't been moved to a centralized exchange to market make with or whatever. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So there's like this, we went through it before, and like there's this difficult, difficult to grasp concept. But for anyone that wants more information, of course, they can jump into Discord. I imagine you've got some resources. But let me know if I get anything wrong, because I don't want anything wrong. But you have 7 guardians that protect the BTC, and then they hold the BTC with MPC technology. Can you explain quickly about the 7 guardians, who they are, and what MPC means?
Yes. So these guardians are, you can name it, Mechanism Capitals, UTXO, Animoca Ventures, XLA, Sec3, Auditors. Our auditors are also joining as well. So, and then also Anagrants, and UTXO as well, like UTXO Ventures, which is owned by Bitcoin Magazine corporate group. And these 7 guardians, they are running MPC, which is multi-computational signatures, where they they sign, protect, and secure your Bitcoin into the Bitcoin address. But they're not the one validating it. I think what Zeus has done uniquely different is that the one that's actually validating your Bitcoin and then prove it and mint it is actually Solana. So what Zeus institutional guardian, Zeus Guardians does is that it basically secures the BTC under the Bitcoin address. It will never move out. And then when you want to redeem them back to your native BTC using zBTC, the Guardians will release the BTC out of a co-reserve address and give it back to your BTC under your Bitcoin address. So what I do, honestly, is just securing, locking, ensuring that Solana validates. That's all.
Okay, cool. So what does MPC mean for those that are new to this term?
Multi-party computation.
And what does that actually, what does that mean?
So it means that instead of multi-sig, each guardians will hold fractional keys instead of one key. So each guardians has its own capacity of with X amount of BTC that can be stored and locked. And each guardians, Zeus Foundation will hold fractional keys, Guardian will hold fractional keys, NPC provider will hold fractional keys. There's multiple ways to secure this BTC under each guardians. So they wouldn't be each guardians holds one key, store all your BTC. So there's tons of guardians holding each other's keys, securing entire Zeus networks. So it's a bit different than multi-sig per se.
Cool. Awesome. I'm just going to quickly share my screen, and as per usual, if I get anything wrong, it's a lot of technology here. But the current DApp that's out, it's in beta, I believe. So this is Apollo. More on this in a moment, and I haven't played around with it, so this will be the first time that I've kind of clicked on it. But this is where, well, we can follow this little exploration stuff here. But this is where you will mint. You'll take your BTC, you deposit it, and you would mint the zBTC. And when you're saying Solana validates it, you have my understanding is a similar kind of program to like JLP, the Jupiter Liquidity Provider token, where it can mint and redeem, and that program there rests on Solana. It communicates with the guardians with some blockchain magic, and you put your BTC in here, and you get the zBTC minted. It's not bridging it. It's so it kind of makes it like a safe, potentially a safer thing, because it's not locked in some bridge, and bridges have been exploited for over $1 billion over the last 4 years, 3 years. Have I got that kind of understood correctly?
Yes, totally. So let's talk about bridge, right? Based on like majority of bridge providers are they take your assets on the left hand, they burn it, and give you another version of the coins on the other side. What this does is that they don't actually burn your tokens. It's the one market makers takes your tokens, and on the other side gives takes the charge on the spread, and they give you another version of the assets on the other blockchains. But what Zeus is doing differently is that first step, Apollo, the first Bitcoin on-chain exchange on Solana, provides a bridge of the solutions where we lock your asset still holds by yourself. And instead, we give you another version asset onto Solana blockchain for you to utilize Solana DeFi overall. And it's redeemable anytime, anywhere, 24/7, no KYC, KYB.
Cool. So do you envision some kind of future where, like, maybe Bitcoins well, let's think big here, $1 million, and someone's, accumulated a few BTC, and maybe they use Zeus and they go and put it, zBTC is then, allowed to be used in MarginFi or Drift or Camino, and then someone just takes a loan. They take potentially a loan out in this permissionless way, so they can go and, I don't know, do up their house or do what they like. And in a grand world of hope and dreams, BTC continues to grow, and your USDC loan increases, but the BTC is always bigger. But you're not selling that asset, so there's no capital gains realization or what have you. But you are using this in an actual DeFi way with less permissions. You're not using Binance or Bybit, where we've seen recently with the Bybit hack, which was absolutely insane, 1.5 billion. And we're not using WBTC, where we just don't know what they're doing, or cbBTC, where we trust what they're doing, but we don't know what they're doing. We're not trusting. We're just like hoping everything's okay. Is that kind of that's the future I kind of see, but you'll see a lot more than that. What future do you see?
Well, first, I don't think any form of BDC is going to overtake entire market shares. You have different risk appetite from different users. You have different risk appetite for different institutions. There are just people that prefer exchange tokens. There are also people that prefer permissions tokens as well. And like I said, it only takes one incident for everyone to appreciate Zeus on Solana. Why is that? What Zeus is doing 1-to-1 ratio is important for users. You can redeem them back anytime, anywhere you want. But imagine we have a couple thousand BTC coming to Solana, and the dependency to BTC increasingly growing larger and larger. It is also creating another issue and potential risk for tons of Solana DeFi protocols to receive these tokens, right? Let's say a Drift, let's say Camino receive 1,000 of Bridge BTC assets. What if these Bridge BTC assets become insolvent, DPEG? Who's going to take the debt? Caminos, Drifts. But what if we're telling all these DeFi protocols saying that all these BTC that's coming through Zeus are one-to-one lock and mint? So there's actually one Bitcoin store under the address. It will never be insolvent. It will never be DPEG. And this can actually restore the confidence for all these Solana devs, RWA, DeFi, any form of devs that want to take BTC as a liquidity, as a collateral, or as an innovations. This notion one-to-one will increase and foster any kind of future builder and founders to build the next generation of Bitcoin devs into Solana.
Gotcha. Because another thing that you mentioned as well before was Zeus Network. It's not. It's actually infrastructure, so other developers can come and build an application on Zeus. Apollo is just the first one that the Zeus team, Zeus Foundation, whatever you like to call it, has created. And you mentioned before, I'd like to point this out. Actually, I'll share my screen just quickly again. We can see exactly as you said, cbBTC is here, has an LTV of 80%. If this did depeg, Camino would absorb the risk. WBTC is here as well, 80%. There's a lot of trust in WBTC, but we cannot verify, as you've mentioned as well. Zeus, of course, I guess, to be fair, it has some growth to do. Definitely has some growth to do, but I understand the goal of what you're after. And you mentioned this to me, but I think this was, it's a key point to put it in here. This is Zeus Scan. This is your Explorer. you can see there's $35 million worth of volume up, in US dollars, back and forward. Unique addresses, 66,000 interactions. But the reason why this is what we could probably deem lower is it's been in beta, kind of like a bit of a closed beta, or you've just been
Yes.
testing things out. And you mentioned this is going live um, soon, like live for everybody to use. When does that go live?
Yeah, very excited to announce the third week of March. That's the time when we'll go live for Apollo. Finally go live. We've done second two auditings already, and also auditing for Zeus Scan, ZPL, Zeus Program Library. Everything's been audited almost twice. By third week of March, we're gonna enable Apollo go live, and one can mint zBTC publicly into Solana. And that is the time where we start seeing more user experience for tons of retail to experience this. Connect your Bitcoin wallets, Solana wallets, and leverage the entire Solana ecosystem. This is something that we have not seen it before. So it is one of a kind. It is one and only right now. And we have tons more updates that are going to be coming out in the next few months. Is where Bitcoin is the first steps. We will also want to enable Litecoin, Dogecoin into Zeus Network, part of the roadmaps, where we realize that, hey, Litecoin and Dogecoin combined in general, you're at least looking at $50 billion liquidity that hasn't been used by any other blockchains. And what if we inject 10% of that into Solana? So maybe Solana TVL could overly surpass Ethereum finally through these UTXO assets that hasn't been used from the past. Who says that Solana can only be surpassed through Ethereum TVL by only native assets of Solana? Why can't we enable BTC, Doge, and LTC into the ecosystem? That could change tons of mindset and perspective for a lot of DeFi protocols, saying that, hey, instead of taking more souls, why don't we start taking BTC, DOG, and LTC?
Cool. Well, I'm not bullish on Litecoin, but I'm sure some people are. Bit of Doge. Wouldn't mind some Doge on Solana, to be perfectly honest. That's pretty cool. Very cool. And Doge, yeah, Doge may become this massive asset that you want to take a loan against, and you certainly can't do that any other way. BTC is obviously, where most of the product market fit is, but it's cool that you're expanding the roadmap. And now, what does someone do if they're a developer and they want to develop on this? Are you like, how do they, like, are there developer resources, or potential grant programs or something, so that they can build an app that can maybe start to bridge some of this BTC liquidity over to Sol?
So we are going to be open source in April. That's confirmed. Once open source April, we're actually going to be hosting our first ever hackathons in Seoul, Korea. We also want to attract the future founder developers. The first time in Korea as well. We have already received tons of ideas already that either they want to build a BTC collateral lending protocols on Solana, specifically targeting BTC, or they want to launch their own version of BTC onto Solana, creating under their protocols as well. So we're going to see a drastic increase of Bitcoin dApps being injecting into Solana DeFi protocols or Solana ecosystem overall, because this is something that you have not seen it before. If you ask people that if you want to build a native Bitcoin dApps before, people will laugh at you. It's impossible to do it with the block confirmations and the speed and the cost for Bitcoin as a blockchains. But right now, if we are putting Solana as an L2 for Bitcoin, things are going to change. You have the speed, you have the performance, you have the most use, you have the number one user blockchains overall in the world. So imagine RWA protocol comes in, they want to they want to take your Bitcoin and give you fiat. That could also work as well on the zBTC, because what we guarantee is one-to-one notions on chain. So
What?
I'm very
Sorry, what do you
bullish
mean by
about.
that? An RWA can take your Bitcoin and give you fiat? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, there's actually tons of RWA protocols launching on Solana. They want to take native crypto assets and then give you in fiat as a collateral, instead of stable coins. So it gives you real world assets instead of on-chain stable coins. But
Us,
if these,
us.
yeah, if these RWA assets want to take Bitcoin, on Solana on chain, guess which Bitcoin they're going to take. They might take WBTC, they might take CBBTC and zBTC in general. So, again, I don't think zBTC is here to overtake anything. But if I were a protocol owner of RWA, I will want to diversify, right? We take
Yeah.
40% WBTC, 20% zBTC, and 40% CBBTC. Or I'll give you a perfect example, JLP. Right now, their reserves are 100% WBTC. What if they start increasing zBTC position under the BTC reserve for JLP? That also can make more sense as well. So, again, I don't think zBTC is here to overtake anyone. We're here to ensure the future protocols owners or blockchain in general are not going to suffer something like BlockFi or Celsius or these kind of like malicious attack under your BTC positions.
Right. Yeah. Because right now there's $206 million worth of wrapped BTC in the JLP pool. And yeah, you do want to diversify your risk because a lot of people won't understand, but these legacy blockchains, they don't have any DeFi. They don't have any DeFi smart contracts. And there's people that have been trying to build things for quite some time, but for whatever reason, they just haven't taken off. One thing is the Lightning Network on Bitcoin. 2017 that's all I heard about when I was in crypto, and now it's very difficult to use. The UI UX is hard, so I think this is pretty cool. Potentially, there could be countries where you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin, but maybe you do. You send zBTC on Solana blockchain. It's a far
Yes, you
easy
can
UI
pay.
to
Yes,
yeah.
a lot easier. So basically, you top out your BTC into a Solana dApps, and you pay with it. And then whoever receives as a merchant, receiver as a dApps protocols, they can take your zBTC, redeem it back to real BTC anytime, anywhere they want. No KYC, KYB. It's
Cool.
fascinating to think about it. Putting an entire BTC on chain.
So now, how does Zeus protocol or Zeus network make revenue?
Yes. So whatever you mint your version of BTC into Solana, we charge fees. Whatever you deposit in BTC, I mean, we charge that layer fee, right? Layer fees. So when you redeem it back, we charge another layer fee as well. But what's more important in the future is that the future dApps that are building on top of Zeus, whatever interaction they have done with ZPL, Zeus Program Library, we charge extra percentage of fees into the program. So whenever they enable deposit withdrawal, there's a BTC deposit withdrawing, we charge extra amount of fees. So imagine more Litecoin, Dogecoin comes up, more dApps being built on top of Zeus, more fees will be generated.
Gotcha. Because you did a raise. Well, I don't know when you did a raise. You let me know, but I believe you raised for around $30 million. This is well before your token launch. What was the exact number approximately, and when did you raise?
So we actually raised $5 million, and through LFG we raised about 20+ millions. So in general, we all raised almost $30 million, and
Okay.
we're still scaling our team. We went from 6 people to almost 28 right now. We're still hiring to almost 30 plus. We're definitely doing something not easy.
Yeah.
Enabling different blockchains to work with Solana. We have Litecoin, Dogecoin, and Bitcoin in general. And then another thing is that we're also looking to scale outside of Solana because we think that it's such a big market. If BTC is going to be a mega liquidity asset for tons of blockchains, I think every blockchain should deserve a chance to validate every Bitcoin transaction like Solana does.
So Solana first, and then move into, I guess, whatever has demand
Yes,
after Solana's proven. Cool. And Anatoly, he invested in your initial seed round. Is that correct?
correct.
Cool. I mean, it's public information. I've seen it before, but he'd spoken before about maybe BTC could be used in a kind of L2 environment of Solana or something along those lines. long story short, yeah, we need more liquidity to come on. So that's pretty cool. Um, Look, you've been building for a few years, just not necessarily related to Zeus right now. Um, but what would you say, like, is some of your biggest lessons that you've learned building just in general? Because you've done things in the past, you've pivoted, and you found. Hopefully, you're going to find a huge amount of success with Zeus.
Yeah, I think this is actually my third startups. I've done two startups for the past. I would have to say that starting a company with three is probably the hardest. Yeah, you need founder-led marketing. You have to adjust accordingly toward market conditions, sentiments. Also, it's not as easy as you think to convince these institutions that host big amount of BTC coming to Solana, right? You have OG wells, OG miners that they don't want to do anything with the BTC. They just want to hold it there, hoping the price goes up. But we're start seeing a paradigm shift toward a lot of BTC holders realize that there are tons of yield that could be generated through many different ways. We're seeing a point system reward, but they also see the fact that Solana is the number one used blockchains. There's tons of organic yield opportunities can be generated through their BTC holdings. So, we're happy to facilitate this. We also want to ensure the protection for entire Solana DApp ecosystem that we're not breaching BTC. We will guarantee protects your liquidity that is stored under your protocols or layers. And when things go south, just takes one incident, people will start appreciate what Zeus is trying to offer here for entire Solana DApp ecosystems.
Cool, awesome. Now, so in a couple of weeks, you've got the third week of March. You've got Apollo coming out for anyone to use. This is mostly going to be an institution play where they'll put in, I guess, zBTC, or they'll put in BTC, they'll mint zBTC. That will probably go into liquidity pools. Then you'll need to get like it integrated into Camino and Margify and Drift, which are they're all permissioned environments. You have to get Camino to approve it, probably at a low LTV, and then it increases. You probably can't speak on that, which is completely fine but can that's all coming? Is that anything you can tell us regarding that? Because obviously the goal would be to have zBTC and to use it in DeFi, right?
Yeah.
Potentially.
So yeah, um, I think I can disclose a lot of things that are going to be happening this month and next month. And I can tell you guys right now that I think zBTC will be the most liquid BTC on Solana in the next few months. I'm very confident on this. We have tons of supporter that are willing to back the first native BTC on Solana. That's first. Second, we have listed companies in US that are going to be coming to Solana with the BTC holdings through Zeus as institutional guardians. There's two types of guardians. There's 7 guardians, which will be expanding to 14 this year. There's institutional guardians that they have to acquire X amount of Zeus, lock it to mint it their BTC into Solana through Zeus. So there's at least 2 institutional guardians that are going to be coming in April. So stay tuned on that. I'm pretty confident that by Q2 this year, I think we have a competitive edge against CBBTC with zBTC. I think last time I checked, CBBTC is about 2,600 being minted on Solana. I'm pretty confident that we should be better than that with zBTC overall.
Cool. All right, by Q2. That's look, I mean, Coinbase is a giant, so if you can take them on, that would be pretty epic for sure. Look, I guess as the final thing for to people that are watching this are not institutions, unless you send it their way. But what should the general retail person, the general DeFi, do with the information from this podcast? What's their actionable step now and for the next couple of months?
Well, stay tuned on our Twitters, Discords. We have always been very transparent with our progress. We'll be updating on a monthly basis on what we have achieved, what we are building, what we have done last month, and next month what's going to happen as well. And I think this month, March, it's a significant milestone for our entire Zeus company as a company. Why? Because we've been building for this moment. Public Mints, first native Solana Bitcoin, is finally coming into reality, and we are ready to embrace the challenge, embrace any technical challenges, community opinions, but more importantly, we're ready to onboard institutions. So imagine in a couple months down the road, people are going to realize that Zeus is onboarding the TVL that we have never seen it before to Solana. And that is the time when Solana has a strong edge to surpass the entire TVL from Ethereum as well.
All right. Cool. Now, Zeus, you do have a token out. I don't really want to talk about tokens yet. You can touch on some things if you want to, or I can let you. I kind of prefer for projects that are that need to start generating revenue. Like if you're bullish on something, you can always accumulate it back 100%. But I think it would be great, in my opinion, for just BTC to start be minted through Zeus, minted and redeemed. Fees starting to happen. There's to be some adoption, and then we could also, we could do a follow-up podcast in a little bit of time, talk about the nature of the Zeus token, whatnot. But if you wanted to add anything now, and you don't have to, here's your time. Anything to add here, Justin?
I think we're good. I think
You good?
I'm pretty sure that Zeus token will do well in the next few months. We're going to be listed on more Korean exchanges. That's confirmed, and then more exchanges are also in chat with us. And then I think in chapter 1, we have a good amount of Zeus already. I think more Zeus are going to be locked under the Zeus Guardians. And chapter 2, that's when things gets interesting. Apollo started getting revenue, and more depth being built on top, and more revenue being generated. So, and then chapter 3 is where we start buying back and burning the tokens. So there are tons of exciting stuff. We can share. We can't wait to share with tons of the future viewers on your podcast. And then, like I said, I would love to come back here when we're doing well, when we have secured a couple thousand BTC. We can come back here and talk about something that we prove against from your podcast.
Yeah, well, it'd be cool actually. I can do a tutorial when Apollo's mainnet, anyone can use it. I can go and do a tutorial, show both ways, with a wallet address.
There's a bounty. There's a bounty. So there's a bounty. We would love to give you some Zeus for the bounty. We're actually chatting with a few YouTubers that are willing to do tutorials, and then we're giving out a bounty. So happy to give you the bounty as well, Seth. Yeah.
Oh, look, if someone else is going to do a better tutorial than me, perfect. I mean, I don't mind. But it'd just be nice just to show the step-by-step how long it takes and whatnot.
Please.
Cool. Well, look, thanks for your time. I've shown it before, but I'll show it again. Go and follow Justin, the Zeus team, here on Twitter. And we'll try and do our best. I'll try and do my best to keep people updated with Zeus. But, in general, follow the team. And the big thing is, of course, Apollo. Once it goes live, we can start to see, zBTC being used in liquidity pools and whatnot, and DeFi, which of course, is a major part of the goal, right? To realize some sort of yield or to be borrowing against it and stuff like that. So thanks very much for coming on, Justin. It's been a pleasure. It's been educational. I've learned a whole lot about Zeus that I did not know, despite doing quite a bit of research. So I'm excited genuinely for your future. Thanks again.
Appreciate it. Cheers. Thank you for the opportunity to come into the podcast. Thank you, guys.
Anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe up here. Check out these 2 other videos over here. Catch you in the next one.